The galaxy was quiet. Too quiet. For thousands of years, no one had seen or heard from humans. Their planets were cold, their cities empty, their great ships gone. Many believed humanity was just a story, something from the past. Aliens thought they were extinct, but they were wrong. Far away, beyond the stars known to the galaxy, something old and hidden came back to life. A forgotten moon began to glow. Deep inside it, machines woke up. Lights flickered. Chambers opened after 870,000 years. And inside those chambers were humans, not the same as before. These humans were stronger, sharper, built for something greater. One of them, Saul Kane, opened, his eyes slowly. His breath was cold. His body was still. But his mind, ready. He looked around. The chamber was quiet, but not dead. Then a voice spoke. It was the AI that had watched over them all this time. "You are awake, Commander Kane," it said. Kane stood up slowly. He looked out into the darkness and asked, "Is it time?" The AI answered, "Yes, the galaxy has forgotten you. Now it must remember." Kane didn't smile. He only gave one command: wake the others. And so it began. Far across the galaxy, alien empires laughed, fought, and ruled. They believed the past was gone forever. They had no idea. Humanity was back. The chambers kept opening. One after another, the long, silent pods released their passengers. Men and women stepped out slowly, their eyes calm but sharp. These weren't soldiers from the old world. They were something else, something built for patience, survival, and return. Each of them carried memories, but not just their own. Their minds held echoes from the past, Earth's final messages, forgotten history, and the last command that started it all. They didn't speak much. They didn't need to. They all understood why they were awake now. Outside the hidden base, the stars looked different. New constellations, new signals. Entire empires had grown and vanished while they slept. But one thing hadn't changed. The galaxy still didn't expect them. Commander Kane walked into the central chamber. A tall screen showed the current state of the galaxy. Dozens of alien species. New alliances, unknown enemies. But no mention of Earth, no memory of humans. He turned to the AI. "What's the status of Project Echo?" The AI replied, "Still hidden, still waiting. The signal will reach them in 6 days." "Good," Kane said. "Let them feel curiosity before they feel anything else." Far away in a crowded alien council, a strange data pulse had just been detected. The leaders argued. "It's nothing," one said. "Just background noise." But a single ambassador from an old, forgotten race leaned forward and whispered, "No, that pattern, I've seen it before, a long time ago." And in that moment, for the first time in 870,000 years, someone remembered. Aboard the ancient facility, deep under the moon's surface, the team had grown quiet. It had been 3 days since the awakening. The systems were stable. The AI had reconnected to the deep space relays. But something unusual was happening now. Someone had responded. Not directly. Not in words, but in silence. A long-range scanner picked up movement from an old region once known as Sector Theta 9. A patrol of unknown ships changed course without reason, as if something had caught their attention. Saul Kane stood before the projection table, watching the galaxy shift. "They noticed," he said quietly. The AI agreed. "Yes, not all of them understand what they found, but some remember." Kane tapped the edge of the table. "Then it's time. Let's show them." A memory, a signal was sent, small, strange, and harmless. It carried a holographic image, a view of Earth as it once was, spinning peacefully in the dark. No message, no threat, just an image that shouldn't exist. Across the stars, the reactions were mixed. Some thought it was a trick, others feared it was a warning. But in a quiet station orbiting a gas giant, one alien historian stared at the image for hours. She whispered, "I read about this. In the Forbidden Archives. It's Earth. It's them." Back on the moon, another human named Elian studied the stars. She was young when she entered the chamber, but now she was something else. Not older, not changed. Just clear. "Do you think they'll come looking for us?" she asked. Kane replied, "They already are." And far beyond them, hidden in the folds of space, old machines, built by humans before the long sleep, began to power on. They weren't weapons. They were reminders, and the galaxy had just started, remembering the story it tried to forget. The galaxy was watching now. Across distant systems and hidden stations, the strange signal had stirred more than curiosity. It had awakened memory. Some races had no idea what they were looking at, but a few, a very few, felt a quiet fear, not because of what they saw, but because of what they didn't. No origin, no traceable path, no known language, just an image of Earth, perfect and untouched as if it had never fallen. In the high chambers of the Zareth Council, the elders met in secret. They spoke of old rumors. Whispers passed from one generation to the next, of a species once called human, a species that vanished, not in defeat, but in silence. One elder, with gray skin and slow breath, said carefully, "If they have returned, the stars will shift again." Back in the hidden moon base, Saul Kane sat quietly in a meditation room, not for peace, but for clarity. He had memories from Earth, real and virtual, forests, oceans, cities glowing at night. All gone now, but that wasn't what he missed. He missed the feeling that humanity had a place in the galaxy, that they belonged. That's why they were here now, not to take, not to control, but to remind the galaxy who they were. Elian entered, holding a small device. "It's ready," she said. Kane nodded. "Begin the phase signal." Across the stars, dormant satellites planted long ago lit up like distant fireflies. Each one sent out a wave of data, not weapons, not orders, stories, voices from the past, music, images, children laughing, cities rising, human lives, sent into the void as a message. We were here. We are still here. On one quiet planet, an alien child listened to the signal. She didn't know who these voices were, but she smiled. It felt warm. The stars didn't panic. Not yet. But something had changed, and now they were listening. The stars had grown quieter, but not still. Everywhere the human signals reached, something strange began to happen. Questions. Who were these people? Where did the signal come from? And why now? Across the galaxy, scientists, historians, and thinkers gathered to decode what they called the Earth memory. They studied every sound, every light, every emotion inside the signal. It carried no instructions, no threats, just moments from a life that once shaped the galaxy. But in some places, fear crept in. Not because of what humanity was doing now, but because of what they were capable of. In the moon base, Elian stood in the observatory. The stars felt closer now, brighter, like they were watching back. She turned to Kane. "They're responding. How many?" he asked. The AI answered before she could. 9 systems have begun scanning for Earth. 4 are trying to trace the source. Kane nodded slowly. "Good. Let them come close. Let them see what remains." But Earth was no longer where it used to be. The real Earth, long buried under centuries of cosmic dust, was only a memory now, preserved in light, sound, and story. The humans here carried its legacy, not its soil. The plan was never to rebuild what was lost. It was to become something new. In one distant region, a group of alien researchers finally triangulated a possible location. They sent a small, unarmed probe toward the edge of a forgotten star system. As it approached, its sensors picked up a signal, not human but ancient. It read, "Welcome. Please remember." The probe sent back images, not of weapons or war, but of art, monuments, names, messages carved into rock and light. The galaxy had expected power. What it found was meaning. Back on the moon, Kane looked at the growing list of species trying to reach them. He smiled for the first time. "It's working," he said. "They're not afraid, they're curious," Elian whispered. "They're remembering." And deep below the surface, where even Kane could not go, the heart of humanity pulsed quietly, waiting, not to return as rulers, but as something the galaxy had never truly known before. The final signal was ready. Across hundreds of star systems, alien ships, stations, and satellites had begun turning their antennas toward the old sector. The place once marked as uninhabited, cold, forgotten. But it was no longer silent. For the first time in over 800,000 years, the galaxy looked into the dark, and the dark looked back. In the heart of the moon base, Kane stood before the main core. Not just a machine, but something living. A memory engine powered by human thought, holding every story ever recorded before humanity's disappearance. It had waited patiently. It had remembered everything. Now it was time to share. Elian stood beside him, holding a small crystal. Inside it, one message was stored, a voice not of power, not of pride, but of reflection. She asked, "Are you sure they're ready to understand?" Kane replied, "Maybe not, but understanding was never the goal. Connection was." The final message was sent, not through words, not through force, but through memory, a child's drawing, a whisper from a mother. The final sunrise over the last human city, a promise carved into the walls of a starlit dome. We didn't vanish. We waited, until the stars forgot our name, so we could teach them again who we were. Across the galaxy, silence followed, but not the silence of fear, the silence of listening. Some alien leaders closed their meetings early. Some artists began painting visions they didn't fully understand. On one quiet moon, a musician played a melody that matched a song from the signal, note for note, without ever learning it. It was not power that returned. It was presence. Back on the moon, the lights dimmed slowly. The base had done its work. The memory was released. Sol Kane looked up at the stars and said softly, "We're not here to be remembered as legends. We're here to be seen as we are." Elian nodded, alive, and somewhere far away a star blinked, not in warning, but in welcome.